Well, good Monday morning, and welcome back to another episode and show on our Monday morning motivation. Y'all, our biggest goal here is to get your week started off on the best note possible so that you can go out there, be at your best, improve yourself for your horses, and be able to progress along the journey that you have. So we've got our coffee here. I've got my Professional Horseman School thermos just in case I don't want it getting cold on me. So I got mine nice and strong and black just the way I like it. But if you got yours with a little cream or a little sugar, I hope that you've got your coffee or your tea just the way you like it this morning because, well, it's Monday and we want to get the week started off on the best note possible. And so we're this morning we're going to go deep. We're going to dive into the thick of it. And this Monday morning motivation was actually inspired by one of you. I'll get to share a little bit more about that here in a minute. But this journey with horses that we're on together, right? I think that we're all on this journey, individually, but together as a community. And we all can share. I think we all can agree that we want what is best for our horses. We want to give them the best life possible. We want to do the best we can when we interact with them. And that transfers all across the board, right? And when we talk about doing what's best for our horses, many of us get started because we have a passion for horses. We love working with horses, but our our interactions with our horses goes far beyond just horses. The better that we can become at communicating with our horses, the better that our communication skills get throughout every part of our life. It affects us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. And horses can be a great and an amazing catalyst for us to improve. Right? Many of us are willing to make some drastic changes in our life or make some sacrifices in our life so that we can do that on behalf of our horses. And that comes down to our why. Like, why do we want to get more fit? Why do we want to get better at communicating? Why do we want to work on our patience? Why do we want to have more better, why do we want to have a deeper sense of self awareness or awareness and situational awareness? And for many of us, it can start. I know it personally for me too. It started with because I want to be at the best for my horses. And that transfers. The more that we can do that for our horses, it also benefits our marriages and our relationships with our kids and our jobs. And it transfers to every part of our lives. And that's an amazing, amazing thing that I think we have to be thankful for with our horses because they can be sometimes part of they're a stepping stone, whether they're the first stepping stone or the 17th stepping stone, it doesn't really matter. They're a pivotal point in us being able to become better people, to be able to grow as we were intended to grow. And so let's go ahead and dive into our the real meat and potatoes per se of our Monday morning motivation this morning. And one of the things that I was contemplating is going from a Monday morning motivation to more of a meaningful Monday mornings. And the reason being is that I understand that a lot of people want to get Monday started with motivation. They need a little espresso in their coffee to pick me up to get them excited for the week ahead. But if you're really feeling like you need to get something that is more exciting, something you need that espresso in your coffee to get you going for the week. The best espresso, the best little pick me up on a Monday is to actually put things throughout your week that you look forward to and to make some changes so that you don't feel like you have to like drag yourself out of bed Monday morning, right? Life's too short for that. And life's about doing what is meaningful. And I think some of the most important conversations that we can have together is on what is meaningful. And the best way that I can serve you is in a meaningful way. And so versus always focusing on motivating, right? Because we're not always going to be motivated. And so there certainly will be some mornings where it's motivational. And there's gonna be other times where maybe it's a little bit more deep and it's a little bit more interpersonal and it's per se, it's all meaningful, but perhaps at a little slower pace that would cause us to think a little bit more. Many of us in society in general could really use to think a little bit more. And so this morning, what we're going to be talking about is it, if it is meant to be, will it be? All right. And I say that as a question. If it is meant to be, will it be? will it actually come true? And I think we've all thought deeply about that in our own circumstances. We've all had situations in our life where we're like, gosh, if this is really meant to happen, like for a fact that it's meant to happen, is it actually going to come true? And sometimes in the moment, it's not easy to navigate that question. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of self doubt and a lot of doubt of other things. And, you know, and, and so this comes up because in our wonderful Facebook community, which is totally free, we have a free Facebook group, and I can link that in the show notes for any of you guys that aren't in there that would like to join us in there. Sarah Ann, she's pretty active in the group. She shared this question and a comment with us um, that I thought would make for a great conversation that we could have in this Meaningful Monday episode and on our podcast and on YouTube and those sorts of things. And so her message says, "My heart and soul longs to just be with horses every day, have my own horse, have amazing connections with horses, and provide therapeutic experiences at an affordable cost for others with horses. However, I don't currently have the finances to be able to quit my job in order to have the freedom in terms of time and money to do this. I'm not sure if you have any kind of resolution for what I can do, but I believe in the power of faith in God and his plan for me. If he gave me this desire as a young child, then it must be meant to be fulfilled, right? I'm just trusting that some way and somehow it will all fall into place." And man, that one hit me right in the feel zone, right? Um, and we'll dive into that, but it hit me because it's like, man, if it's meant to be, will it be? Right. And I wanted to, highlight Sarah's specific comment and her message on this episode because I believe that many of us have felt this way in our journey. We have a deep passion for something. You have your own deep passion for the things that you love in your life. We believe in God's plan and we want it to happen so bad, yet we just don't know how it can all become real life. And being the hyper analytical person that I am myself, I break this down into two pieces because ultimately Sarah asked for some feedback on, do I have a resolution? And I don't know that I have the answer, but I can share with you how I would navigate this. And one of those in the way when I break this down into two different parts, one answer or one part of the answer is the logical type A-ness that some of us share as horse people. And I'm going to cover that in depth. And then the other part of that is directly in alignment with something that is far outside of our own control. And it's something that I think we all have to be aware of, and we all need to, how do I put this? That we need to be aware of it, but we also have to kind of release ourselves to a little bit. I think this is the best way to maybe shed light on that, and we'll dive into it. So the first part of this is, what can I be doing? And the second part of this is, are we pursuing what we want, or are we pursuing what he wants? Are we pursuing what God wants? So let's start with, what can I be doing? Right? The type A-ness in me just spewing out, right? And so God gave us free will. We have the ability to take action on our own. And one of my favorite sayings that I heard, I can't even tell you where I heard it because it's been so long, but it is, work like it depends on us and pray like it depends on him. And so in a situation where we don't yet have the resources, we have to take inventory of where we are currently at right now in our lives. And we've got to make a plan because God gave us free will. We have the ability to take action, to change the course of our life. And we know people that have made really bad decisions in life. And guess what? When they make those bad decisions, how fast does their life change? Sometimes instantly, right? And if someone can make a bad decision and change their life instantly, Why can't we make good decisions and change our life instantly? Many of us don't think about it from that perspective. I firmly believe we can. You can turn the page, you can make different decisions, you can change the course of your actions, and you can take your life from where you're currently at into a much better direction, right? You can completely change your life for the better, just like we can go the other direction, right? So there's the yin and the yang per se. And so when we look at this, right, and we don't have the resources, we got to take inventory. We got to make a plan. And so just like working with horses, we start from right where we're at. We have to start right where we're at right now in our lives. And my approach to this is currently to do inventory. What is my current management of my time? What is my current management of my finances? Who am I surrounding myself with? What type of things am I listening to? I'm looking for an overall inventory on all the inputs and all the outputs in my life. So I'm looking at my current job. I'm looking at my current friend group. I'm looking at what am I listening to and watching online? How much time am I spending scrolling on social media? Right? When I'm scrolling on social media, what am I watching? Who am I listening to? Who am I being influenced by? Looking at my finances. How much money am I making from my job? How many hours am I working? You know, and I'm looking at all of these factors, the things that we do every single day that feel normal, that feel monotonous, that just are what we do. And I ask myself, if I continue to do what I am doing right now, will it take me to where I want to go or where I know I'm meant to go in life? Right? I have to do that current inventory and look at right where I'm at. If I keep doing the things that I'm doing all the way through, is this trajectory, is this pathway of life that I'm currently on going to take me where I want to go? And for some of us, it might be a no. Some of us might be, yeah, I might eventually get there, but I might. No certainty. I might. Some people might be on a track going, yeah, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going right where I want to go. Good deal. Right. And I've asked myself that many times, will my current actions take me there? And multiple times for me personally, that answer has been no. There's been many times where I'm going, what I'm doing right now is not taking me where I want to go. And I'm going to butcher this quote, but I actually just saw it this morning, and it was from Stacy Westfall. Someone else had shared it. I think a guy named Cody Patterson had shared it. And Stacy's quote was something, I'm going to ad lib this a little bit, is along the lines of, if you know where you want to go, if you know what the end destination looks like, you can start to get there much sooner. It was something to that effect. Okay. And I thought that was a really, really good quote, because so many times we struggle to get to where we want to go because we don't know where we're headed. But if you have an idea or you're confident in where you want to go with it, then it's much easier to create a plan of action to move towards that. And so as I shared with you, like many times for me personally, the answer's been no. What I'm doing is not going to lead me to where I want to go in life, where I feel like I'm meant to be in life. And then we have to make a choice. We have the choice to feel defeated, or we have to realize that all of those things are in our control, and we can start making changes right now in your life today. Because if you know in your heart and in your soul what God has made for you, I feel that you and we as people have responsibility to take action on moving towards that purpose, moving towards what that plan is. Because if we're not, if we don't, if we take the easy road, if we make excuses and we decide, you know what, it's not, it's too risky, it's gonna make me feel too uncomfortable. I don't know, it's not certain enough. You're not fulfilling the purpose that God put you on this earth for selfish reasons. And several years ago, I heard a guy by the name of Ed Milet. share a perspective that it completely changed the way that I approach life. And so Ed laid out this scenario, right? It's a more of a story type scenario. And I go to heaven. I imagine that God is going to introduce me to a man, and he will be the man that God planned for me to be. So it's like his twin, nearly, right? And if you're a female, right, you could imagine when you die and you go to heaven, he's going to introduce you to a woman. And that woman was the woman that God had planned for you to be. And Ed shared his biggest goal that when he dies and goes to heaven is that he wants to be as close to the man that God made him to be as possible. He wants to know and understand and be able to relate to the man that God introduces him to. Because one of his biggest fears is being a stranger, and God meeting and introducing him to this man, and going, I don't like, that's supposed to be me. Like that, I don't even know that guy. Like I can't even relate to that man. I can't even relate to that woman. And so, and the main reason we would not be able to relate is because of the actions that we took, the free will that we took. If we take the easy road, we take the convenient road, if we take the more selfish road, and we don't pursue the road to follow the purpose that God put us here to actually fulfill. And that is one of the biggest driving factors in my life as well, is that I imagine if that were ever to be a possibility where God can introduce me to and say, Colton, this is the man that I meant you to, I made you to be. I want to be as close to that person as possible when that day comes. And I think all of us should be striving to live up to our fullest potential, because every single person here on earth is here for a reason. And I think we need to ask ourselves this question, which is, do we trust or do we hope? And that question came to mind because in the last part of Sarah's message, she said, if he gave me this desire as a young child, then it must be meant to be. I'm trusting that some way and somehow it will all fall into place. And I do not say this as a criticism or an assumption of Sarah specifically, but actually something that I've learned in my own journey. And I think that this is something that many of us encounter. And that is that we say that we trust God, and we say that we trust the process, and we say that we trust what is meant to be will be. But most of us still hold on to a piece of hope that it'll be the way we want it to be. And we hold on to that hope that we are right and that we get what we want. We say that we can trust God. We say that we trust the process that gets us the end result. But many of us hold on to this piece of hope that we get the thing that we want. And I think that we all go through this process of finding hope in trusting God, in relinquishing control to Him, relinquishing control to God, and disarming ourselves of what we think is right and truly trusting God. And for me, this has been a massive process, a massive learning lesson over the last 2 years. Because frankly, I'm stubborn. I'm hard headed. I'm willing to fight. And I don't let go of what I think is right easily. And in some cases, I'll put it on the record, I'm wrong. And in some cases, I'm fighting for what I want, not what God has planned for me. And God then allows me to struggle some more until the wrong thing gets difficult enough in my own life that I start changing my ways. I start looking for an easier way out. And for me personally, I think that sometimes, like, I put myself through quite a bit of difficulty before I'm willing to make a change. I take responsibility for the fact that, hey, if this is getting this difficult, what am I missing? What am I not paying attention to? What action should I be doing differently? Right. And a lot of times we already know what we should be doing. We're just not doing those things. And that is our fault. Right. We got to own up to that and we got to make changes. We don't have time. There's not enough time. Like we have to make those changes. When you know it, you got to do it. And that willingness to make a change is something about our horses that is so inspiring to me because if only we could let go of our past and our preconceived notions as fast as horses do that just want peace. And it's amazing to watch horses that have a really troubled past or horses that are like feral Mustangs that they just want peace. They just want to survive and how quickly they are willing to trust and how quickly they are willing to change their preconceived thoughts or their natural instincts when someone is there presenting things in a manner that is truly in their best interest. And no question, God has our best interest in mind. We just have to be willing to listen. And so that leads me right into the second point, which is, are we pursuing what we want or what God wants for us, what he has planned for us? And I think that is something that we have to look internally for. It takes being super objective and realistic to ourselves. At times we won't know, and it's going to feel super unclear. And as we continue through each day, I believe that the best thing that we can do right then is the best that we can do, the best that we know to do. So many times we get analysis paralysis, right? And it's just like, hey, when you're going from Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, the best thing you can do is just give it your best. Do the best you can with what you've got in front of you. And then as we push forward, go forward with an open mind, go forward with an open eye, go forward with an open ear, go forward with an open heart. And as we keep putting in the work, as you keep going through the motions and working at it and giving every day your best, the path will become more clear because you've done the inventory, right? You're building your awareness. You're taking positive action, right? Because when you move forward and you do that first step, that inventory step, your mind, your heart, your ears, your eyes, everything's going to be more open, and you're going to be able to move forward with a higher level of intentionality. And when that is the case, you're going to the pathway is going to become more clear. You've audited who you're surrounding yourself with. You might surround yourself with different people, right? That will help you see a better path. And I can tell you for a fact that sitting there in your bedroom, in your home, with the door closed, right? Just meditating, just waiting for the right time to come through, hoping to hear a voice, right? Not taking any action because you feel stuck, because you have gotten yourself static and stationary. You will stay stuck in analysis paralysis, and it will only make things worse, right? Overthinking, and I'm preaching to myself here, overthinking makes things worse. But rather, if we can stay active on the journey, on the adventure that we are on, and we will have so many more chances, so many more experiences to connect with other people, to discover what is actually meant to be able to learn more. And it will open our eyes, our heart, our soul to so many more possibilities. And really to kind of bring this together, to wrap this up in this conversation is work like it depends on you. Pray like it depends on him. And take a really good hard look of where you're currently at right now. You can look at where you're currently at in your life, with your relationship with your horse, with the skill sets that you have. Look at where you're at right now, and then envision where you know you are meant to go. And ask yourself, will my current actions get me to where I want to go? And if the answer is no, what do you need to change? Are you holding on to the hope of what you want to have happen, or have you let go Have you actually relinquished control of what you cannot control? I think we all still have parts of that in our lives that we need to work on. I don't know that that's ever going to be a done deal process. And so we need to let go. But you have to ask yourself, have I let go of those things I cannot control? And have I truly put my trust in God for the plan that He has made for me? Because personally, I believe that God put us all here as creators. He made us in the image of Him to make this world a better place because He's the ultimate creator and we were created in His own image. And He gave us free will. He gave us the ability to make our own choices. And that means that we have the responsibility and the opportunity to move forward making intentional decisions, on our day to day lives that will impact where we go. And we have the ability to trust Him, to relinquish the control to God, and to actually set our sights on pursuing what is meaningful. And for Sarah and anyone that has listened this far in this episode, I believe that it takes both. We can trust to God that what will be can be. What will be, what is meant to be is not what always will happen, because we have free will. We have to do our part of the equation. Right? God is there to support us. God is there to guide us. He has an incredible plan that He has laid out for our lives. But we have to be the ones that take the action. And so part of that is in our control. The other part is that we have to release control and open our eyes, open our mind, open our hearts, open our ears, and listen as He can lead us on that path. And so, y'all, I'd love to know if this episode connected with you, if it was helpful to you. And if it was, send me a message or leave us a comment. Right? If you're watching on YouTube, you can drop a comment down below. If you're listening on podcast and you want to send me a message on social media, I welcome you to do that, because my biggest goal is to help you and your horses along your journey. And I'm so thankful for you to take the time to listen to this. And I really want to bring y'all as much content that is actually meaningful and impactful and helpful on your journey. Whether you're here for personal development, horsemanship development, some of both, or even the business development content that we bring you guys. And so with the free content, the only thing that I ask is help us reach more people. And you can do that for free, right? Simply by leaving a comment, subscribing, and leaving a review if you're listening on the podcast platforms, right? It takes a few seconds. If you think it's worth a 5-star review, we'd love for you to do that. People do read that, and it really is helpful. And so, and if right now, before the episode ends, if you take a screenshot of this that you're listening to or watching it and share it on your social media page, that helps us reach more people. You can always tag me at Colton Woods Horseman and I'll share it, right? I get a notification when you tag me, and I'm just so grateful for your listening ear, for you taking the time to watch and listen. And I look forward to connecting with you guys on the next episode. So go out there, have an amazing week. Trust the man with a plan, put in the work like it depends on us, and pray like it depends on Him. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.